International. General. Part A. General. Rule 1. Application. These rules shall apply to all vessels upon the high seas, and in all waters connected therewith navigable by seagoing vessels.
Vessel, according to the definition in Rule 3, Paragraph A, includes every description of watercraft, including non-displacement craft, wig craft, and seaplanes used or capable of being used as a means of transportation on water. The 1958 Geneva Convention on the High Seas defines high seas as all parts of the sea that are not included in the territorial sea or in the internal waters of a state. For all intents and purposes, international navigation rules of the road apply to all vessels outside the Colreg's demarcation line.
Nothing in these rules shall interfere with the operation of special rules made by an appropriate authority for roadsteads, harbors, rivers, lakes, or inland waterways connected with the high seas and navigable by seagoing vessels. Such special rules shall conform as closely as possible to these rules.
Special rules made by an appropriate authority. In the case of the U.S., these special rules are the inland navigation rules. Moreover, appropriate authorities making special navigation rules shall ensure their rules are as similar as possible to international navigation rules. This conformity should help minimize confusion between the two sets of rules. Roadstead is a partly sheltered anchorage. Sailing directions and U.S. coast pilots contain information on roadsteads. For example, Monterey Bay, California, according to Coast Pilot Volume 7, has a roadstead between Point Pinos and Point Santa Cruz.
Nothing in these rules shall interfere with the operation of any special rules made by the government of any state with respect to additional station or signal lights, shapes, or whistle signals for ships of war and vessels proceeding under convoy, or with respect to additional station or signal lights or shapes for fishing vessels engaged in fishing as a fleet. These additional station or signal lights, shapes, or whistle signals shall, so far as possible, be such that they cannot be mistaken for any light, shape, or signal authorized elsewhere under these rules.
Additional signal lights for fishing vessels engaged in fishing as a fleet are described in Annex 2. These additional lights are used in conjunction with the lights and shapes required for vessels engaged in fishing.
Submarines may display as a distinctive means of identification an intermittent flashing amber yellow beacon with a sequence of 1 flash per second for 3 seconds, followed by a 3-second off period. 32 CFR 707.7.
Keep in mind that the distinctive identification light mentioned is optional for submarines.
Other special rules made by the Secretary of the Navy with respect to additional station and signal lights are found in Part 706 of Title 32, Code of Federal Regulations, 32 CFR 706.
Civilian mariners and vessel operators must fully understand the implications of this paragraph when operating in the vicinity of warships and vessels proceeding under convoy. According to 32 CFR Section 706.1, all ships are warned that, when U.S. naval vessels are met in international waters, certain navigational lights and sound signaling appliances of some naval vessels may vary from the requirements of the International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, 1972, 33 U.S.C., following Section 1602, 1982, as to number, position, range, or arc of visibility of lights, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sound signaling appliances. Those differences are necessitated by reason of the special construction or purpose of the naval ships. An example is the aircraft carrier where the 2 masthead lights are considerably displaced from the center or keel line of the vessel when viewed from ahead. Certain other naval vessels cannot comply with the horizontal separation requirements for masthead lights, and the 2 masthead lights on even large naval vessels will thus appear to be crowded together when viewed from a distance. Naval vessels may also have unorthodox navigational light arrangements or characteristics when seen either underway or at anchor. Naval vessels may also be expected to display certain other lights. These lights include, but are not limited to, different colored rotating beacons, different colored fixed and rotary wing aircraft landing signal lights, red aircraft warning lights, or red or blue contour approach lights on replenishment-type ships. These lights may be shown in combination with the navigational lights. During peacetime naval maneuvers, Naval ships, alone or in company, may also dispense with showing any lights, though efforts will be made to display lights on the approach of shipping.
Traffic separation schemes may be adopted by the organization for the purpose of these rules.
The International Maritime Organization may adopt traffic separation schemes proposed by maritime nations for vessel traffic management or control in congested or restricted waterways. We will discuss details of traffic separation schemes in Rule 10.
Whenever the government concerned shall have determined that a vessel of special construction or purpose cannot comply fully with the provisions of any of these rules with respect to the number, position, range, or arc of visibility of lights or shapes, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sound signaling appliances, such vessel shall comply with such other provisions in regard to the number, position, range, or arc of visibility of lights or shapes, as well as to the disposition and characteristics of sound signaling appliances, as her government shall have determined to be the closest possible compliance with these rules in respect to that vessel.
Most conventional commercial vessels are built to conform to the provisions of these rules. However, some vessels constructed for specific jobs may not be able to fully comply with all of these provisions. For example, a tugboat may not be able to comply with some provisions for light placement. Hence, the owner, builder, operator, or agent of the tugboat must submit a written application for alternative compliance to the Chief of Marine Safety Division of the Coast Guard district in which the vessel is being built or operated. However, two prerequisites have to be met. The vessel must be of special construction or purpose, and full compliance with the provisions of the navigation rules would interfere with the special function of the vessel. In the case of the tugboat, her special construction is to facilitate towing operations, and mounting a stern light at or near the stern of the tug, as required by Rule 21, Paragraph C, would interfere with towing operations. If the Chief of Marine Safety Division confirms that the vessel cannot comply fully with 72 call regs or inland rules, lights, shapes, and sound signal provisions without interference with its special function, the closest possible compliance with these rules is determined, and a certificate of alternative compliance stipulating the closest possible compliance is issued. Installing the stern light on the back of this tugboat's wheelhouse will comply as closely as possible with the provision for stern light placement. Alternative compliance procedures under the international rules are in 33 CFR Part 81. Alternative compliance procedures for inland rules are in 33 CFR Part 89. However, procedures for alternative compliance are the same for both international and inland rules.